Welcome to 3 forms of quadratics. Let's get started. The form you're probably most familiar with is standard form because we've been working with that for this whole unit. And that is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. When you're in standard form, you can tell right away what your y-intercept is because it's just 0c. It's just this last number at the end. You could also find your x value of the vertex or your axis of symmetry if you use x equals negative b over 2a. So what we're going to start doing now is changing from different forms, like this is factored, this is vertex, and we want to change back to standard form. The way you do that is if you look right here, this is a factored form. You got 2 sets of parentheses, so all you would need to do here is FOIL. So if you were to FOIL 3x times 2x, that would be 6x squared. And you'd have 9x minus 10x minus 15. And then remember, with FOILing, you just combine those like terms. And we have 6x squared minus x minus 15. So when you see the 2 factors here, all you have to do is FOIL to get back to standard form. When you have vertex form, this is when you can tell what your h and k are. Remember, when you've got a parentheses and that little square, you've got to expand that into 2 of the same things here. So 3x minus 4 times 3x minus 4. And then you still have this 2 in the front and this minus 5 at the end. Well, the first thing, again, that you want to do after you expand, so we expand first, then FOIL. So you expanded these, now FOIL these just like we did up here. And that FOILs to 9x squared minus 24. This is after I've combined like terms, since you know how to FOIL. This is what I get, so now it's almost in standard form, but you still need to multiply this 2 first. So 18x squared minus 48x, because I'm multiplying this 2 here and then this 2 times here, and plus 32 because I did 2 times 16, and then that minus 5 is still at the end, and that's the very last thing I do the adding or subtracting of whatever's at the end here. So my answer in standard form, 18x squared minus 48x plus 27. Now vertex form, which we're starting to look at again, and we saw a lot during the parent functions unit, has the h and the k. So we've got y equals a, and then in parentheses x minus h squared plus k. And the vertex is always our h and k. And remember, you change the sign of your h and you keep the sign of your k. And this tells us how we move left or right, and this tells us how we moved up or down from the original parent function. In order to change to vertex form from standard form, you've got to complete the square. And we've been working on that recently. Now, I know that yours says this right here, 3x squared minus 18x plus 5. We're not actually going to be working with these that have this a in front of it right now, so I want you to go ahead and cross that out. And we're going to do f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 5. And this is the example we're going to be doing. So remember, when you complete the square, the first thing we always do is move our c to the other side. So we should have a negative 5 over here. And I'm going to make my f of x y, just so it looks better there. F of x is y. And with the completing the square, you still have these little boxes or a space because we want to add something to both sides. And remember, what you add is always b divided by 2 squared. In this case, our b is negative 6, so divided by 2 is negative 3, squared is positive 9. So this becomes y minus 5 plus 9 is plus 4. And when you factor this and make it a perfect square, it's x minus 3 squared. And then the last thing you do is just move this c back over here, and you have y, or f of x, equals x minus 3 squared minus 4. So then our h is 3 because we changed the sign. and negative 4. So that's our vertex. And this is our vertex form. Now factored form we've been working with also when we did factoring, and that is when you have your two parentheses because you factored your quadratic equation, ax plus b and cx plus d. And if we set each parentheses or each expression right here to 0, then we find our roots. So that's what you can always tell right away from your factored form. You can find your roots. Now, and this is a little square, you have 3x squared minus 16x minus 35, and the way you convert to factored form is to factor it. And the way we learned in class was to find our a, b, and c, multiply our a times our c together, and that is negative 105. And the factors of 105 that will also add up to 16 would be 5 times 21. So when we put this here in our parentheses, x 5, x 21, and we want to get negative 16, so we want our signs to be positive 5 and negative 21. Then we divide by our a, and if it doesn't divide or simplify, we kick it into the front, or we move it into the front of the x. And this one, 21 divided by 3, does divide to negative 7. So now we have our factored form right here. And if we were to set this equal to 0 and this one equal to 0, we would have our roots. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching and see you soon.